everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Nick and Knarf, two brothers in Tucson, bringing you music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, both ways. Today, we're bringing you some cool, classy jazz.
That's right.
From the 60s and 70s.
Actually, 60s, because he died in 1969.
Oh, my gosh.
68, excuse me. It's
the
great
when I went
Wes
to college.
Montgomery.
Wow.
Yeah, Wes Montgomery, one of the innovative jazz guitarists of the 50s and 60s, died very young at the age of 48, born in 1923 in Indianapolis, Indiana, died of a heart attack, tragically, very young age, but an incredible jazz guitarist who really created a new style of guitar work by plucking with the side of his thumb and also hitting double octaves on his guitar work. So it sounds like there's one string is playing an octave higher than the other, yet they're being played simultaneously, which was very innovative at the time.
I remember this so much when I started college. I listened to a lot of Wes Montgomery, and that was 72, so that's probably why I thought he... Wow.
I got my first Wes Montgomery, which is the one you see over my shoulder here, the one that says Down Here on the Ground. That came out in 1968. And I got it when I got my my GTO, my first car, when I was 16 years old. This was one of the first 4 tracks I bought, and it's got some great cruising music. But Wes Montgomery is admired by so many people like Stevie Wonder, George Benson, Eric Johnson, Lee Ritenour, great guitarists. He's been an influencer of so many people. He started playing a lot of music with his 2 brothers, and then he kind of went solo, and his career kind of skyrocketed, and he's got what a productive career. He had 25 studio albums as a leader, 7 albums with his brothers, 3 compilations, 4 collaborative albums, and 6 as a sideman performing with other groups. He was nominated 4 times for Grammys and won twice. And don't forget, he died here at the age of 45.
And he didn't sing, so it's all
instrumental, all jazz guitar. But we thought we'd try something different today because this is one of the icons of jazz for me when I started really exploring it. I know it's kind of on the softer side of jazz, but boy, it's memorable, beautiful stuff. We got 3 great tunes from 2 albums, Down Here on the Ground and his big album, Tequila, which came out in 1966, Down Here on the Ground in 68. So, before we get started with our showcase of the great Wes Montgomery, we'd like to invite you, please, to subscribe, like, and share if you haven't. And for those of you who have, we thank you very much. Hit that like icon. Whether you're subscribed or not, we really appreciate that.
Why not?
What do you got to lose? But anyhow, we've got some wonderful, wonderful tunes, and we're ready to get into them for you.
Let's hear it. Number 1.
So the number 1 song we're going to play is the first song on Down Here on the Ground. It's a great breezy tune that you'd love to put on your car while you're driving down the highway or up the coast. This one is called Wind Song, Wes Montgomery.
That's nice. I just got a flashback. It was like, I was thinking, I took this gal, a girlfriend of mine, I won't mention her name, but to the Sheraton Universal in North Hollywood, where Universal Studios is. And I remember they were playing that song.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They had a jazz trio that must have been playing
This
that
is
song.
such quintessential Wes Montgomery of the 60s. It has that feel of the early 60s when the jazz scene was starting to really become more popularized. And he had originally started playing more serious, heavy jazz, you know, doing a lot of bebop and some other stuff. And then he got into more pop-oriented stuff. And he did a lot of reinventions and covers of other more familiar music, like the next song we're going to play, Tequila, which was a big hit. And he does his own version of it. But he's done covers of Eleanor Rigby, A Day in the Life, California Dreamin'. I mean, he was popularizing on his jazz guitar a lot of the contemporary pop songs of the In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Dark Side of the Moon. No, he wasn't like that. But anyway, Nikki, what'd you think? Any comments before we
it just gave me good memories. It made me. I do remember cruising all around Hollywood and L.A. You know, listening to Wes Montgomery.
Yeah, do any of you guys remember this stuff? Hey, leave us your comments too. By the way, we'd love to have a dialogue with you about your Wes Montgomery experience. If you enjoyed him, if you got a chance to see him, I know he died when we were pretty young. So. Anyhow, our second number is the title track from the second album, Tequila, which was obviously a big hit. And this is his really terrific cover of it. Here we go. Wes Montgomery, Tequila. Tequila. By Pete Gibson.
I tell you, if that doesn't make you feel like you're sitting in a jacuzzi sipping on a margarita, nothing does.
He is his music is the embodiment of cool, smooth,
classy,
easygoing, late night stuff when you're with friends after an evening, turning on this on. Such sweet music to have in the background. And you hear that, don't you hear that distinctive double string sound? You hear the song, the high note, and you hear the eighth note, the octave below, and they're played simultaneously. It almost sounds like two guitars are playing, but
yeah.
Man, I mean,
and I'm guessing that was a Gibson guitar. If you guys know,
yeah, I'm not sure exactly what guitar he played, but God, he was just. I mean, he's just the embodiment of smooth, you know? It was just such enjoyable music to listen to relax to drive to, just to hang with friends and talk.
Even sounds like stuff that you would, a filler at a wedding when you're sitting there maybe starting to have dinner and people are kind of just calming down from a. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that puts you in the right kind of mood.
And I know some people think, well, it's kind of just soft jazz.
Elevator
and it's like
music.
But, he brings a distinct, clean style to what he does, and he puts his own unique mark, and he has such really interesting arrangements.
And I'll bet you he sold a ton of albums.
Oh, God, with the amount of albums he sold, I mean, I'm sure he did really well. And that wasn't a real big market. And don't forget, right around that time was when stuff like Girl from Ipanema was coming out. Yeah. A lot of Brazilian jazz was being brought to the United States. So it was an integration of all of these styles, and he just kind of found a way to articulate a kind of a musical idiom that really became the mark of a whole period of time in the 60s.
And he was kind of a tweener, if you think about it. I mean, he was already in, you said, his 40s when he was making this music. Right. So he kind of predated rock and...
But obviously he enjoyed it a lot because it entered into his body of work. He wanted to reinterpret music. Like I said, who had jazz guitar? I mean, now it's kind of common, I suppose. But back then, reinterpreting the Beatles, Eleanor Rigby, A Day in the Life, that was kind of really going off. He does a really nice version of A Day in the Life. I should probably have played that, I suppose. But, well, I don't know. We tried to figure out which one would be the best. But what did you think, anyway, of Tequila? I think it's a really groovy song. Now, we are going to finish off our tribute to Wes Montgomery with, to me, one of his perhaps 5 most iconic and finest jazz tunes that really, really show you the exquisite talent of Wes Montgomery. This one is called, and it's close to our hearts because it's about a place we love, Hollywood, and Sunset Boulevard. And the song is called Bumpin' On Sunset. Wes Montgomery.
You know, it's funny. You sit here and you think, why would a bunch of teenagers in the 60s listen to Wes Montgomery? And then you realize we needed to recalibrate. You know, we're listening to all of that rock and that acid rock and, you know, all this other stuff. And now and then we just needed to kind of come back down.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as I was evolving in my own musical taste back then, you know, I mean, sure, rock was number one. Beatles, pop, all this, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks, the Buffalo Springfield, all those bands and stuff. But man, I had another dial on my receiver here too, where I would go to a lot of great stuff like this, Stan Getz, you know, Dave Brubeck. You know, a lot of other things I was just starting to discover because, I mean, I was only in my mid-teens, you know, when I started discovering this. So it was a whole new learning curve for me. And I just came to embrace the beauty of Wes Montgomery's style and just what it does to decompress your mind and your spirit. It is some of the most soothing, I mean, engaging. You just feel like you're lifted away out of so many, you know, things that are of the moment, you know. It's just a very elevated kind of sound.
So
you know?
did you guys listen to him a lot? Did you have some of his albums? Did anybody see him in concert? Probably not.
Probably not, because he only, like I said, he died in 1968. He was pretty young, you know.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he made his mark.
He did.
He sure made
his mark. He left a great mark. And if you haven't heard, listen to more of Wes Montgomery's catalog. Some, especially A Day in the Life is one of the albums that came on right after Down Here on the Ground. And it does have his version of the song A Day in the Life and Elder Rigby. Really worth checking out. And by the way, this Bumpin On Sunset is also on that Tequila album, along with the song Tequila. But we really
enjoyed it.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed our presentation of Wes Montgomery. Thought we'd do something different. You know, we've gotten some comments saying, oh, do you guys ever do jazz? How about doing guys like Pat Metheny and some other stuff? And we try to mix it up. I brought like Bella Fleck and the Flecktones and John Luke Ponty. So I've thrown a few jazz things along with our, you know, our oldies and our rock and everything. So I try to mix it up, but we sure hope you enjoyed Wes Montgomery. And remember, if you haven't, and and you're considering it, please subscribe, like, and share. Hit that like, especially hit that like button. If you watch the video and you like it, hit that like button. It really helps us.
Don't forget, come back for our next episode of Nick and Knarf.
That's right. We got plenty of great content ahead, and we hope you'll join us again. And we thanks our subscribers. So anyway, we're checking out. See you next time on Nick and Knarf. All the best.
Bye,
Ciao,
guys.
Bambini.